Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and we just got a massive update when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, and it pretty much confirms the previous reports that were coming from the gaming industry itself, namely that the Nintendo Switch 2, or the successor to the Nintendo Switch, is going to launch not in 2024. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be revealed in 2024, as we will get onto later on in this video, but it means that the system is not going to launch until pretty much the 8th anniversary of the Nintendo Switch, which is going to be March 2025. So the by far longest lasting Nintendo system by far in the modern era. The source of this report is Nikkei, which is the main newspaper for the Nikkei index covering the Tokyo Stock Exchange, and of course this is the stock exchange where Nintendo stock is being traded on the daily and also globally, which means that it's a very credible source, one that is aimed at informing investors also about decisions whether to buy and sell, and this is why they're taking this very seriously. I've managed to get a translation here. The headline is very quick and forward. It's delay allows streamlining of sales, gives developers time to create titles for new units. So there's updates coming from Osaka, and they state immediately that Japanese gaming titan Nintendo will launch the next generation console in March 2025, later than widely expected, Nikkei has learned. The new console will likely have a feature to be used as a handheld similar to the Switch, and utilize a bigger display panel, repeating the report that we previously covered in a different video. Market watchers have largely expected a new gaming console to be out within this year, but the Japanese company has prioritized streamlining the initial sales of the new machine and giving more time to game developers to create popular titles. Nintendo will try to expand sales of the Switch successor by, among other means, combining marketing with the popular and intellectual properties, such as its game characters and upcoming movies. Nintendo's spokesperson said that it had no particular comment in response to Nikkei's inquiry. And then Nikkei goes on that Nintendo, when they launched the Switch in March 2017, in the case of the initial shipment, was insufficient to meet consumers' high demand, resulting in a shortage and rampant reselling, or scalping as we know in the West. The Japanese company also faced a lack of software for the new console, with only 3 Nintendo-developed titles at launch. At least one of them was Breath of the Wild, as we all know. As the company hopes to avoid such a situation this time, the launch of the Switch successor could be further pushed back, depending on the progress in establishing production capability and developing key titles that affect initial sales. The Switch is expected to overtake the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was launched in 1983, this summer in terms of its longevity. It's gonna be the longest lasting system of all time. I think only the Game Boy has been longer, if we count the color console as well. Nintendo's stock market capitalization has tripled since the launch of the Switch. Cumulative global shipments of the Switch by 2023 were 139 million units, ranking third after Sony's group PlayStation 2, 155 million units, and the Nintendo DS at 154 million units in gaming console history. That is the entire article, referencing of course the fact that, well, with this decision, there's no doubt Nintendo's aiming to dethrone the 2 consoles, even though they have pretty much already done that on the software front. My take on this is actually quite simple. It seems that 2024 is going to become a year where the second half of the year might become bigger than initially expected, at least when it comes to games that maybe we thought were going to dual launch on both the Switch and the Switch 2, and of course when it comes to the Pokemon Game of the Year. It looks more and more likely that Metroid Prime 4 could be launching in 2024, so before the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, I think Nintendo is aware that this game could really benefit from the massive install base that is for the Nintendo Switch, and also the possibility of backwards compatibility then to the Nintendo Switch 2. We saw also that Metroid needs these kind of install bases when it comes to number of systems in order to sell to satisfying numbers, since they have invested a lot into Metroid Prime 4. Pokemon, the Pokemon company speaks for itself. They would rather sell their games on a system that has, 100 plus million sold units than one that is just getting started. And this is why I think that 2024 is going to be the year when Pokemon makes a big push, then probably take it easier in 2025. So most likely not launch a new generation because, well, there's not going to be enough Nintendo Switch 2s on the market by the end of the year probably. And thus wait to 2026, which is the 30th anniversary of the Pokemon series as well. So yeah, it looks like 2025 might very well be a 3D Mario and Mario Kart, new Mario Kart year, and of course also a lot of other games that are gonna launch simultaneously. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. And I'm just getting a little bit more optimistic now when it comes to the second half of the year. We have the rumor about Nintendo Direct in April and the reveal of the system itself in June, but I also wouldn't disclose a reveal at a later point, just like we saw in the case of the Switch, where the system was revealed in October and launched in March. But who knows, they might just do it in June and then just start building up hype for the launch of the system in March 2025. Besides, it's still going to be in the same fiscal year, so it doesn't change much for Nintendo internally, that is, because they count fiscal years from end of March to end of March. So if they launch it March next year, it's still going to be in the same fiscal year as, you know, whether it was coming out in September, October, November 2024. So it's just going to change it a little bit for us. It sucks a little bit for us YouTubers because ad revenue isn't as strong in the beginning of the year, but if they reveal it at least towards the end of by the end of the year, then we should still be able to have a lot of coverage of the system in that time frame. So I think we'll all be able to get the most out of this altogether. I'm glad I just didn't upload videos on the daily when it came to Switch 2. I've always been more topical and waiting for the bigger, more credible reports, and this is definitely one of those. Another possibility that of course opens up with this, and which also will be within the same fiscal year, is maybe, you know, the largest Wii U to Switch port, in this case being Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Like, I would love for that to be the case, and I would love for them to be revealed in April as well, because we are in the new fiscal year, and if you want to reveal stuff within this fiscal year that's going to start on April 1st, then yeah, it would be great to see some big announcements and reveals. Yeah, that's how I see it. I think it's an important report, and it's clear that Nintendo has a clear aim to avoid scalping, to avoid a lack of systems. And when you launch it in March, of course, you have a lot of time to build up towards the first holiday season, which is going to be then in 2025. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually launching with Mario Kart and then having a 3D Mario later down in the year, much like they did in 2017 with Super Mario Odyssey, and maybe even a re-release of Tears of the Kingdom. It's almost impossible to say, but yeah, we'll see if we have something Zelda this year, because it could take a little while. I think Pokemon might also have a smaller title then in 2025 for the new system, maybe just to showcase the power of the system. Much like the first HD mainline Pokemon game, if you want to say, was Pokemon Let's Go. So maybe that's what we're gonna get in 2025 as well. Anyway, guys, that is my take on this whole report and everything we have gotten. If this thing is, of course, using NVIDIA DLSS for upscaling to 4K, this is not going to matter anyway. And besides, we all save ourselves buying a 4K TV in 2024 again. Save that investment until 2025, and in the meanwhile, just save up for, you know, both this year. Anyway, I want to see your takes on all of this in the comment section down below. And of course, we have the Pokemon Presents, so there's going to be videos of that as well. And of course, videos celebrating the 7th anniversary of the Switch and Breath of the Wild. So thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to all of our patreon.com/Comeron patrons, as you can see on the screen. And as always, you rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.